Yay, we are fully dilated, I guess.
Whoa.
Right?
Oh no, that's terrible.
What's terrible?
Dilation, oh dear. Oh dear. Hello, Stuart. Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
How's it going, everybody?
I hope it's well. If it's not well, I don't know what to tell you.
Be
Don't make
more
it better.
well. There you go.
Yes. What he said.
But times two. Yeah, we're back for another live. We are starting to slowly finish off all of the
Greatest Star Trek shows of all time.
Sure. With its not that many episodes in the grand scheme when you think about it. 50 episodes, 2 seasons. But with modern streaming, that's a lot. What a weird world we live in.
Indeed.
But yes, we're going to break down scene by scene, bit by bit, and this one's a lot of tiny jokes in, but they're not the same visuals because we're on an alien planet for the whole thing. A lot of windmill shots, as in cut to 3 months later, windmill, etc.
Indeed.
And a few giant grapes.
Yes, and can't compete with Talin's melons. Yep.
They are big and juicy. See you in a second. I'm going to start sharing.
It's 16 people here, 7 likes. Hit the like button, guys. Do the things. Super chat in during this live. We want to hear your thoughts, comments, and anything you guys want to talk about. Helps us out immensely. Also, there's a join button down there. Consider joining the channel here on YouTube or heading over to Patreon/Trekyards to support us over there. It all helps us out, and we really appreciate all of it. So if you can help us out, please do so. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, of course, and click the notification bell icon so you get notified when we go live, because we do that a lot. And we also have edited content. We'll have edited content this weekend, every weekend. So check it out and make sure you're subscribed and notified. You know the routine. I keep saying that. You know the routine every time. I don't know why. I'm sorry. It's a bad thing on my part. I apologize. Anyway, thank you for being here. Check out the links down below. There are links to the Teespring and the TeePublic store where you can get yourself some cool Trekyards merch. Again, we really appreciate that. So help us out in any way you can, and also just be part of the conversation in the regular chat as well. We have a great community. You guys all know each other pretty much, and you all tune in to check us out, so we appreciate that also. So keep it up. Anyway, on that note, yes, we are on episode 7 of season 5 of Lower Decks, the final season. We have 3 more episodes to go after this, which is scary. But this was a great episode, and we'll talk about it in just a minute here. Let's crack this episode. Yes, indeed. And Metallica fan actually made it to a live for once. Well, glad you're here, Metallica fan. Thank you for joining us yet again. Anyhow, yeah. Hashtag flagship purple enterprise, right? Yeah. All right. Well, let's get this party started with 2 super chats real quick.
Oh, excellent.
Ray Ricks, £2. I'm sure the slurking will pay off. Yeah.
You've always been good at that as well. So well done.
And Ozzy Madero's $5. Sir, another starship coming in. It's Starship Enterprise Purple. Purple prize.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very fair. But guys, do go watch our editor review as well, because we do those, to be watched. Our first reaction, has not got many views at all, so go check that out, because, we make them for you. Not that many people seem to care. But it's okay. The scene by scenes are really why you're here, because A, we get to watch it more than once, so we get to have thoughts that are refined, And you all are here to make us, you know, be here to account, and then tell you you're wrong because we know what we're doing. Mwahaha.
Yes.
Yes. So, Stuart, my man, my Stuart of all Stuarts. Not Purple Stuart, you're just regular Stuart. What do you think of Season 5, Episode 7 of Lower Decks? And how did you feel after watching it more than once? Go!
I love this episode. It's definitely up there with the best of this season, if not the best of this season, possibly. It definitely has a lot of the tropes we all have come to know and love from Star Trek. And great legacy character returning in the form of Brent Spiner as Data, even though it's purple Data. And yeah, it's a fun episode. It's a fun ride. I love the time dilation stuff. I love a lot about this episode. Everybody kind of gets a chance to do something, which is great. There are a few little problems here and there with it, like why didn't they just go to another transporter room or something? But time was of the essence. If they were there for a year, which they were, and 1 week of them is the second, it took Boimler and Rutherford a minute to get the transporter up and running. And it's funny when you look at it like that. So, but yes, references to various other Star Trek episodes, which I found fun, and that's what Lower Decks does very well. And of course, we got the Enterprise, be it the Purple Enterprise, the Purple Prize, as I'm calling it. And yeah, I don't know. I love this episode. What can I say? How about you? I know, yeah, multiple viewings, it gets better and better, I think.
I was about to say, if I'd say you increased your appreciation on second viewing because you were not as enthusiastic on first viewing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just fun. It was a fun ride, so yeah.
Good, excellent. So is it more that you knew where it was going, so you could appreciate the ride versus?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, which often does happen. But there's a poll as well. By the way, when you get there.
Cool. I was going to say I had a lot of suspicions first time around. Like I thought Chanel was definitely a Ferengi that had changed his looks to find this art, whatever this Enterprise left behind, because he definitely came across as a Ferengi first time we saw him. But now knowing how the story flows, it was like, yeah, this is like comfort food. It's good. So, all right, the poll is this episode of the Starbase 80 episode best of the season. Starbase 80. TOS Love Fest or Love Feast, Data's Return,
Meh.
Neither.
Say it right, Stu. Meh.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do I think? Yes, I think this is great. It is fun. It is engaging. It's interesting. A lot of the time, I have those preconceived where I think the plot's going. In mind. This one, I really just enjoyed the ride first time. Yes, there could have been I think this episode does not have the cherry on top, but has everything else. But had it had at the end the Purple Enterprise coming in, or cutting to Data, I've said several times a post credit where the series warps out, fades down, fades back up. The torpedo is now in the Enterprise D shuttle bay, and then Captain what did we say earlier? Troy walks up and in a all good things uniform with a badge, and she's like, "Come on, Data," and he walks in. He's got like a giant weird trench coat. You can have a really fun with the end. They didn't quite do. That'd have been the absolute cherry on the cake, but that's here nor there. Really, really fun episode. The tightest story of the 7 as well, and that for me is why this excelled, because the story is really clever, very Star Trek, incredibly dense. There is no B plot. It's one big A plot, which means it's proper attention. They wonderfully sideline Mariner in a very meaningful little story that allows Tillin and Tendi to get a really good episode while still feeling like Mariner gained something, which is they don't always succeed in. Yes, Boimler and Rutherford look really stupid, but I think the way you have to take that is that was under like a minute. So and I love the way you could edit that as just like in chronological order. If you just edited those sequences, it would flow. And then, which if you take it that way, they're just rushing, and it's dumb fun, and I'm glad they kind of got penalised at the end with a very silly, funny point. We're supposed second time where Talin's obviously Vulcan and she's very restrained. And so just her agreeing with them in the same cadence, they're like, whoa, Talin is on fire! She's like, that's enough to say she's really going at them, which is, you know, fun. Snell's great. The alien culture's great. All the tropes, but in a very effective way. Brent's great in it. That's how you probably should do legacies. He's the same but different, meaningful yet throwaway. You can forget he's there, but then he pops up in his add-on. Obviously, could be a bit more. Always could be, but he's not a cameo. He's not just whatever. And it was interesting to see Brent reprise as original Data, you know, Enterprise D era classic Data as much as he could, versus, you know, any other Data, because there are many, which I like. And there was a certain naivety that like Nemesis Data wouldn't have, which I liked. And definitely second time of thinking, oh, this is like a young, this totally season 7 Data. I could see that. Although the one big complaint I have on that, the second time around, I only got first time around with you in reviewing it, was that Data's been dead for like 3 years, and it was a giant sadness when he died, and nobody has any. You would not know that from this episode. You would assume this was set some other time. There's not even a hint of anyone's performance that he's been famous and dead. Now, you don't need to have it a big deal, but as you'd said in another review, having either Freeman or Mariner say, "I'm glad I got to meet you, all things considered," as in like, because you died, I couldn't have met you otherwise, right? So weird tonally, because they would all know he's dead. So, especially Carol Freeman, she should have said something. So that's my only thought. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. It's connective canon, etc.
Ray Ricks, though, 5 pounds. This has been a great episode, probably best of the season. Just wish we didn't have so much of the season not progressing this season arc.
Speaking of our first scene, I was so damn relieved it was a bloody anomaly. I could feel you're like, oh, thank God we're doing it. We're doing an A-plot. Makes me wonder, why on earth aren't we doing every 2 episodes being an anomaly we're seeing? Absolute mispaced. And that said, would have been lovely if they'd had the Sealer ship that was chasing the D, or like some familiar ship wreckage here. I was kind of watching that second time, like that could have been whatever.
Well, there is ship wreckage there, which is odd. There's also pad floating, and you get, it looks like an Intrepid class nacelle in the first shot where they come out of warp on the bottom there.
Oh yeah.
Which I didn't notice till the second time, and I'm like, what is that all about? What happened exactly?
It was definitely a battle, but it would have been cool to have a Romulan half flying.
Yeah.
And it is all purple. So it's a cool sounding battle. And certainly when she talks about the pad, there's no ship. No, it would take more effort to do, but it would have been cool if they've got the Deredexes, they've got Marauders, I'm sure, to see part of that. But yeah, sensor buoy detected on the edge of whatever space. Purple Enterprise D. Or they don't say Enterprise D though. An Enterprise. We'll get into that later, how that could have been a fun joke.
Yeah.
As it goes home, presumably after being fought by the thing, and it was a lovely 5 seconds in reference.
And a little bit of exposition, because they just say we're getting pretty good at sealing up these fissures.
Oh yeah.
This is the 3rd one this week.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Not sure why we don't. It would be nice if we saw more of that.
And we get Mariner wondering if the carpets match the hull of the Purple Prize.
I get the joke. That's okay. I did laugh the first time, but you could say, mildly mature in that regard. And then Taquito Night, which first time I was okay with as a joke, because we should go investigate. We should because there's tech that's been left behind. Super. Have to go do whatever. And they say the lieutenants should do the Taquito Night thing, which sounds dumb because it's an offhand joke, but the fact that they contextualize it in Trek, which is, you can make that food any time of any day of any week. And Mariner's like, yes, but that's not the point. The party is what I want to go for. The night, the experience, everyone's getting together. It's such a small thing, but that adds to me that canon of Trek where you can say those odd things, that how they feel about these situations. Because of course you can make the exact meal, in your lunch break, but literally the exact meal down to the molecule, right? But it's not the point. It's everything else. So that was a very small gag, but kind of sweet.
Yeah. And then the mentioning of needing to get a science officer. Because they both look at home at the science station. And you made a good observation, too, that Tendy's medical. So it doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's fine.
Now, luckily, we have you guys as an audience. We're very lucky for that. Someone in our spoiler review pointed out there was a whole episode in season 2, they said, where Tendy was said to be too smart for medical and she was doing some science stuff. And I said, was there? Because I sort of remember it now you've said it, but I can't say that stands out as being a giant thing. Because guess what she'd done since then? Medical, Orion assassin, medical. So even if that did happen, I wouldn't say I felt like, oh yes, that's totally... You know?
Yeah.
And we review this thing a lot. So the fact that, yeah, she's a medical officer, she's always with Tiana, it seems odd. And given that she came from medical, even if she's good at that, and with a dedicated 100% always science, there's no competition, which actually in second viewing works better for you realising that she obviously, Tendy's obviously outmatched. There's nothing she can do that can compete, but she's doing it as a cultural thing. She's trying to show, as she says later, to be an Orion as a head science. That's the thing I want to be, not necessarily position, but the first or special. So that's a nice. You really feel her struggles more the second time when you like 100% understand it because they're good at expressing that.
Yeah, absolutely. She has been doing other science with Rutherford, scanning anomalies and such. Yes, it's true.
Yeah, but anyone can do that. I mean, so is Boimler, and he's pilot. So is Mariner, she's pilot. Like, everyone does science in the lower... You know, everyone has some level of science background. Or science doing.
Then Boimler says, I'm detecting a Starfleet signature on Delmer 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't close the rift. They leave it open. And they're like, what did the Enterprise leave behind for us? Which seems odd that the Enterprise would leave something there. And they do say it's the amount of time that's passed. It's been years on the planet. And absolutely, that would be the case.
Yeah.
But that bothers me later because they're by an abandoned house and there's this huge crater with debris in it. Like, they're not far from, you know.
Well, there's a couple of things, right? This is, yes. And it's a very good story, but these are things they have to brush over. If a sensor buoy has told them this Enterprise is here, then Spirits has got to get there, which is going to take you days, if not weeks. So already it's been... Because remember, 1 second is a week. So presumably it's been hundreds of years, if not thousands of years, potentially, since the Enterprise D was in the area for them to warp in. Because just the entire preamble is going to be like 100 years, right? Surely. So the chance of them not finding the wreckage... Now, because if they started the episode with the Enterprise D flying through the anomaly, like we just caught it, fine. But yeah, how has no one found the wreckage in hundreds of years? And Data's head is still... Yeah,
and I want to point out, some people will say that, oh, we saw the Enterprise D going back on pad. Yeah, that was from a remote Starfleet relay that sent them that information, and they had to get there. So it has been quite an amount of time. So. And
like I said, I mean, it's been like 100 years in time we've had the sentence, right? You know, so it's a bit weird. And also, I would love to have seen, I'll be honest, an Enterprise D shuttle flying into the... Yeah, I would have loved to have seen that. Like again, you could have explained it if... Because why didn't the Enterprise D go off the Data? That's also hard to...
Yeah, that's one of my biggest complaints. Or just get the wreckage out of there.
Like, okay, I'm assuming the portal's one way only. Which, as in, they came through, they were tricked to come through, and then whatever. And the baddie ship forced them to go through, like, it was chasing them back through, I get it. But it would have been so nice if we'd started... Imagine the first shot was Enterprise D firing phasers against a Romulan ship, and the Sirius warps in, it's like, Captain, there's this, and this, and then a shuttle's, you know, going towards the planet, and we don't see Data yet, and I think it could have had a really impressive cold open to explain why there hasn't been hundreds of years. Because it's a really hard premise to kind of continue on, but, yeah. But they got to go do it.
So they go down and get plastic surgery, and doctor's complaining that she didn't go to Starfleet Medical to do this, whatever this is. And we have a whole conversation about livestock and how the planet probably smells like dog shit. And Talin's very sensitive because she's a Vulcan, so I'll get my olfactory senses cauterized. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, very intelligent scene. Even though Tiana makes it dumb, the logic is very fair, and I obviously appreciate the I'm a doctor, not a whatever the shit this is, because it's true.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to do. Now, I said to you in the other review, this sets an interesting precedent of Tiana is not assuming they'll be there for more than, I mean, have to be more than like 6 weeks, because it takes you more than 5 seconds to press button and rebeam, right? So let's assume 10 seconds, let's assume, which is not very long. So they're going to be there at least 3 months, which is why in a bit makes no sense, but what I said, 10 months, whatever, 3 months. Is she prepping the disguise to be a long-term past that? Because if it's just like a tan, the equivalent, and fake, whatever, like, would you really design the DNA modification to last like 50 years? Right? That would surely do more to your whatever. I know I'm asking bigger questions, but I was expecting in the storyline a semblance of, but T'Lyn, our ears are starting to degenerate, and she has to find an enzyme through the fruit. Would be the easy solution, right? Just as a balm, and it fixes it. And the fact you didn't get, or like eating the minerals of the actual planet would fix it. But it's ignored, which shows that I guess in this era you can become an alien race without any semblance of a problem. First try. That's amazing, right?
Scottish Sniper says, why not just take a drug and become that species like in Strange New Worlds? Well, that was the problem. That was experimental at the time, and I don't think it worked out so well, changing DNA like the way they did in Strange New Worlds, so this is a different version.
And I mean, if you look at it, they're just phasing, like, metamorphosing. It's quicker and not painful.
Yeah.
I mean,
because the drug was painful.
Yeah, it sucked. And it is a bit of a cheeky joke to reload the cartridge. Gosh, you have some funny little gags in this one.
Ray Ricks, 5 pounds. Also, T'Lyn is like 60, and Tendi is probably mid-20s, so T'Lyn has probably been sciencing for much longer.
Yep, and you would definitely assume that in the science preschool of Vulcan, they're already doing time travel nonsense versus Tendi, who is throwing knives.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which shows how good Tendi is, but yeah, there's not really a parallel.
And guys, 28 people watching and only 15 likes. Hit that like button.
Is that it? What?
It is it, yeah.
Goodness.
I know, I'm disappointed too. But
oh. You're not angry, just disappointed.
Exactly, I was just about to say that. So.
And yeah, the cauterized thing was really funny. Because it's not a joke, but it's a joke. Now, it does sound harsh, because cauterization destroys the nerves. But given that they cut people's arms off and re-heal them.
Exactly, yeah.
It's an interesting way that you can have something that brutal sounding, but the fact that it's fixable, it means it's a solution. But I'm glad they addressed that, because that's like an entire T'Pol subplot is her smell. So really good to think of that. The writer of this really gets Trek. They have so many nuances that just, does really well.
Ray Ricks, 2 pounds, wasn't Arn Darwin a human for like 30 years? He was, yeah. But that was a more primitive, like actually surgery.
That was invasive.
To convert him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
as we kind of saw in Discovery. Not that I want to bring that up, but yeah, they shaved bone. They did a whole bunch of stuff for that kind of transformation.
I doubt they can go back. I think it was a one-way internal thing. I don't think they can add a second spleen back in and make it work. I think he's forever. That's the position, right? It's great honor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a one use.
But anyway, Rutherford's apparently growing a beard, and his stubble's coming in nice and even.
Since yesterday.
Getting a lot of compliments on it. I'm sure you have too. Not really. And I can relate to that so much because I can't grow a beard. I can't grow facial hair to save my life. It comes in patchy and thin. Just looks like shit.
Oh,
other people can shave in the morning, and by 5 o'clock if they left it for 2 days, they'd have a full friggin' beard. So.
Yep, and mine becomes very ginger and makes my skin look very dark. And I'm assuming this is meant to play a part. They're going to be beard buddies like next week or the week after for a joke, because it's super random. Now, if it is just there to be the Geordie joke,
I think it might be.
because LeVar was asked to shave every day for Trek. He didn't like it. He always liked having a beard. That's why he has his goatee thing. Or very clever, whatever. And so he just didn't turn up. Because sometimes you can just if if you need to shoot a scene at like 10 a.m. and you only got the set 10 to 11, if LeVar Burton walks on set with a full beard, you can't just get him back to you can't get him back and shave it and get him on the set in time. So he forced their hand to do it for the episode, and then once he was in the episode, he had continuity. They had to keep it for an episode. He was like told off. I mean, he got reprimanded for that, but that's why they had to write it in. I've got a beard, so it's literally just forced their hand one time, which is ridiculous when you think about it. But also balls on the balls on that man.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so I don't know if this will be a one-off thing. I think we'll probably see a beard on Rutherford for the next episode at least.
Yeah.
Probably a big bushy beard, and Boimler will have a few more hairs, or maybe be almost complete. But yeah. So anyway, they come in, and Boimler's kind of joking, like, you're looking forward to churning some butter.
Yeah. And
they're like, you're just jealous because you're not going on this away mission. He's like, no, I mean, we're here enjoying these drinks. And, it's only going to be a second for us, so I'm not really jealous. Mira's like, yes, you are. So, yeah. And it looks like Tendi is interested in the pad as well. She says, did you get all this from the pad? And she went to reach for it, and Boimler snatched it. So I think she's kind of curious as to what her counterpart would be doing in the other universe, even though we know
I had not thought that, but...
Went back and joined the Orions, though. The Orion Syndicate.
So. That's interesting. I mean, that is subtext. I don't know, maybe.
Which is so obvious. She goes and reaches for it, and he snaps it up, and she has a disappointed look.
I think that's just because she's being like, doing so many things are out of your wheelhouse. Please stop. And this is obviously against regulations, and as we saw, it was a terrible mistake because goes real bad. Although, are these meant to be something?
Look like shrimp cocktails.
Right, okay, they are a thing. Because I don't know if it's meant to be like an alien drink that they made up for lols, because it's pretty elaborate.
It is.
Oh, and also, did you notice, I'm sure you did because we're Trekyards, but they call this room Transporter Bay, never Transporter Room.
Yes, I did notice that. It looks bigger than a regular transporter room like you'd see on the Enterprise D, so could be a multi-purpose room, and as we kind of speculated, why didn't they run to another transporter room? Could be because... Maybe it was only one on the California class, and it's a bay. It does cargo as well as personnel.
Like this, that'd be the worst thing ever to do. But
I know. It's just California class, right?
It was a really interesting thing. Cause that was super intentional and interesting.
Ooh, Canadian Starships is here. He's from Kincardine, which is not near me, but near me.
Huzzah!
Met him at Wonderfest, actually.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But good to see you.
Welcome. And guys, super check your thoughts.
So we find out about the time dilation. The planet's core has created a space-time differential. So every second on the Cerritos is a week for you guys.
This is crazy.
And that's the first reference we get to another episode. It's like that planet Voyager went to. In Eye of the Beholder. So.
And it makes sense to be a Voyager fan.
Yeah.
Both literally and figuratively. Now that, I was already in on the episode at this point, but have time dilation as well, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Because it lets you have so many little jokes. And I don't think any of them are going to be properly affected by this week's episode. But
they're a year older than they were when they left, which is
notable.
Bad.
Although it's so fun because they've lived a year, but obviously they've not been missed or anything. It's such a... Yeah. And you'd think that a year having, horns, you'd get used to it, and then you'd start doing stuff assuming you had horns, and then, my horn, that should be a joke in the next episode, like, you're going on, ducking on something, it's like, horns. But then I say that, but of course, Janeway got assimilated, and then her hair grew back by the end of the episode, and she's fine, so it's like, okay.
Yep.
Modern medicine, eh?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, lovely little pendant, which I thought they all wore. I assume they all got a pendant, the relocation beacon, because it'd be dumb to send
That would make sense.
But they're meant to just say, all right, boy, beam out. Okay, let's beam back in 3, 2... Like, it's meant to be 5 seconds, right? So, but I thought they all were going to wear one. That's okay. They beam down, and as they're beaming, it goes wrong. So we don't waste any seconds until we start wasting seconds, and then their reactions are pricelessly priceless.
Yep. Got poked in the eye with one of the skewers and spilled everything all over the console. So yeah, you got to think it took them roughly a minute to clean all this up and bring them back.
Yep.
So that's fine. And then they beam down to Vasquez Rocks. Go figure.
Yep.
Hopefully there'll be some small callbacks to the horns or lack thereof in the following episodes. I hope so too. Yeah, that'd be great.
In all of our many seasons. And yeah, great triple Vasquez Rocks. Lovely. That was a really good use of it. Nice set piece. And they keep their tricords and phases with them, but they ignore them after a certain point. Not sure where they're hiding them, given that they have, like, Mariner's wearing a tight waistcoat. Anyway.
I mean, Tendi can hide a android head under her dress. I wish she would have looked pregnant during those scenes. I was looking for that on other rewatches, and it's not evident. So,
but yeah, it's the industrial society. So they go to it, lovely town, nice and gentle. Although interestingly, so this is a pretty simple town. But if you look at the top of the first building, there's like metal piping, almost like an aircon system.
I think that's a joke. But yeah, I noticed that on my third viewing of it, that the top has like machinery on top.
Yeah, all the
industrial. Yeah. Mistake, maybe, I don't know. And also you can see the eternal fire there, the eternal flame, which has always been burning since they got there. So.
Yep. Mariner, you ready yet? But I like how wonderfully surface level the planet is, as in it's just a nice normal society. There's no twist, there's no build up, it's just a gentle like. So this is a nice like, oh, interesting, I like it. And I was just thinking, how bad are their hair? How bad was their hair in the first take? Because like they get improved, so everyone's hair's fine. Although even the dog's mane is, the horse's mane is the hair color. That's great.
Ooh, bricks.
Tendi, you can make bricks any day in the replicator. I know, but these are real, made of actual bricks.
And then Sesiguro 2000 member for 37 months at the rank of captain says, in those cases, I just assume that they use the transporter buffer thing from Elite Force. Oh, to hide the equipment. Yeah. I don't think that's an actual thing, though, that we've seen in canon. Like a pouch of holding that you get in D&D. You can put lots of stuff in it, despite the size.
Yeah,
right?
I wish they had a pouch. That's okay.
Then we meet Schnell. He seems very sleazy. He seems like a Ferengi. I thought for sure he was a Ferengi that was disguised to recover whatever's on the planet as well. I was wrong, but it would have been great because I think he's that same voice as one of the Ferengis we've seen in Lower Decks. Anyway, but he tries to sell them tickets to a bonfire.
I thought it was going to be like watching the Eternal Flame. I thought it was going to be a joke on the second time, but and interestingly, I took him very much as the archetype of this sort of. You think of Baylock, the actor, he's often that creepy little guy in things like that archetype. So just I understood him instantly. I liked the Ferengi thing, although in the logic of the scenario, he would have been here possibly for thousands of years at this point. You know? To make this make sense, to him be stuck here as a Ferengi, he'd need to be like, you know what I mean, a lot more...
Or on the other side of the planet. Just arrived kind of just before they did.
Well, indeed. But you have to do a lot more plot to make that work. Well, it would have been kind of incredible if it'd been like... If Tasha Yar's evil clone had sent a Ferengi officer and they'd breeded with these locals, and this was a 5th generation version because it'd been 3 years, or 30 years. Like you could have made that silly, but yeah, I'm fine with how it was.
So they wander out of town after saying they don't have any glovers, which is, I guess, money.
And they don't go that far out before they find a house.
No.
Pretty nice house.
And then Mariner looks dead at the camera for some reason. Kind of unnerved me the first time, and it just... Anyway.
Okay.
And then not far from the house, we don't really show the distance, but you would assume it's not that far. There's this huge-ass crater in the ground with debris everywhere, which is near a city or town.
And if you look at it, it's on a road. It's destroyed a road.
Yeah, the road leads right to it. Yeah, exactly.
So therefore, you would have had a convoy of traders who would see this. I didn't catch it first time. Although I do appreciate that there's greenery, because I was saying earlier in this live, it crashed, there'd be some effect of it being hundreds of years, and if those trees have already grown, or the trouble around it, whatever, that does imply time has passed. Good. But second watch, I was so disappointed that I really wanted to see a TNG old class shuttle, or shuttle pod. I would love to have seen a part of that in the ground. Like, it just being generic thing. I know it would set up more for first time, if it was a shuttle, you think a person survived, you might guess data, I get that. But second time, I was like, oh, I wish there was a shuttle. Because they're disintegrating stuff, right? So it could have been whatever.
Mm. I wish everything would have been grown over with vegetation on vines, and they had to, like...
Yep.
There's metal underneath this, and then they phaser it, you see the metal, and then they phaser the
metal.
Yeah,
because if the vines are so high, then people would have gone to this wreckage and not noticed, You know, just they say, one day the gods have made this giant vine crater, whatever, you know. But I can see that the radiation from the crash has stopped some life from growing. So there's ways you can take it. But I love they disintegrate stuff like TNG. Beautiful. It made me really happy as a Trek fan. Like, super logical, super clever. Damn, those phases are going to be quite useful if you ever use them again. Well, maybe not. And then the twist! Now, how did you feel when you saw Data? Because we haven't really talked about the feeling part of this.
I was just like, yes, it's about time, a legacy. Is it going to actually be Brent Spiner? Are they going to activate him? What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Because as we kind of said when we talked about it later, it doesn't really look like Data. If you compare the two, I wouldn't have thought Data firsthand if it wasn't for the, obviously an android, right? So.
Although, of course, it is alternate universe Data. So
yes.
You're allowed to have a little bit different. No, I was thrilled. I mean, you can definitely see it coming if you're like, you could guess this, right? The way they've Enterprise D specifically. But I was excited. Having talked with you yesterday morning, I thought if this had been Law or B4, that would have been an even bigger twist. Would have lost the dataness of it, of course, but to have it be Law would have like added so much like whoa to where they could go with it. But I was certain that he would be in this. Just didn't know how much. I kind of hope there'd be a uniform. We could have had a body. Would have been fun to see him in full TNG working with them, but neither here nor there. But no, it's really, really exciting because, hey, if there's only like 3 legacies, but they're all the A-list, well, okay. You know, we can't afford to pay the 5 Voyager cast or the DS9 cast, but we can bring in Brent, Patrick, and LeVar. It's like, there we go. We got 3, the expensive 3.
But then Snell finds them. And it's like, what are you up to? Oh, nothing. Just we got some rocks here. Oh, and also, where are you guys from? The northern region. Let me guess. Slarno? Yeah, Slarno strong.
That was funny. That was good. Yeah. I mean, this is, again, a clever Trek joke, which is not really clever anymore, but the fact they played it as far as they had to, it wasn't a joke, it was a scenario, but that was good. That was good.
And then the magic of juggling. Her first time, no less.
But as she says,
I could do it either.
It's just mathematics, right? It's actually super logical.
Algorithmic tossing, yeah.
I've never heard of that phrase that way. And I like how much Snee's in it. It's little bits here and there. It's just the right amount of always there. Yeah, really good. Now, this is where I have my first problem. They know going in they're going to be there for at least 6 to 10 to 12 weeks. Because it takes more than 6 to 10 seconds to press the button, beep, 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 and then beam. And this one was rushing. So they've been there a few hours. It's been less than 0.1 of a second.
Tendi says, you're right. You're not wrong. But Tendi does say, Boimler said he would bring us back in a second. I think it was push the button, and then right back up. But yes, a couple seconds at least.
Yeah.
So doing it the same day.
Physically impossible. Yeah. So this really lets the episode down. Because you don't even need this. You need the sense of, right, we're going to be here for 7 weeks at least. Yeah, this is because Tony's just standing there waiting. She knows. Yeah. I mean, at least 3 weeks. You know, say this is the pad. They beam down. 1, wait a second, beam. 3 seconds, and that's just 2 buttons. So at least 3 weeks. So yeah, huge plot hole.
Yeah.
That's why they shouldn't be cheap science people, because they don't know how to do math or science.
I love the whole, like, Boimler's probably looking at his pad. What could have happened in an empty transporter room?
Hard cut. Ah!
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of do want to see the edit though, just these scenes, because it's got to be under like 30 seconds of footage.
It's probably real time. It's probably a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, somebody needs to edit that.
And they even point out, just the time of explaining how many seconds it's been has been another 2 weeks. Which is true. Like, they can't fix it quick enough.
Yeah. Well, he says, in the time it took for you to tell me that, it's been a month.
Yeah. Tillin. Be better at science.
And me saying that was another month.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's great, but double dumbass on you. But I do wish, and you said this and I'd said this, that rather than doing this, they said, Rutherford to Transform 2, side beam now. What's going on? Right now. Zoop, rush to the console, beep, 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 and do it.
Yeah.
Because that's how they should have approached this. Because this is an unknown amount of time to fix it. There are other transporter rooms, other ways of doing it. I don't know why they're doing this way. Yes, they'd be in trouble, but they'd be in trouble either way because they've now been there for a year. Right?
Instead of beaming to another transporter room, I thought it would have been hilarious for them trying to clean the console, realizing it's not going to happen. They're running through the halls carrying their shirts that are covered in this. That's a Lower Decks visual right there.
Yeah. Idiots. But then 4 months later, they've now built a lovely windmill, which is generating power, and I love the iteration on the house and the structure. It's really nice little. Oh.
I do love the one line here as well, which we didn't mention in our review, but my away mission resume is going to be more padded than Romulan's shoulder.
I laughed out loud first time. I forgot that line existed. Laughed out loud again the second time. I also like that they clearly imply that Mariner's done nothing for 4 months. That's why she's bored. And this conversation turns out right around.
Well, you don't want to interact with the people too much because it's dangerous and
Until you realise you're in a light situation, which she calls the Picard probe. What does she phrase it as?
Let's see. When Picard got duped into thinking he was a family man by that probe.
Yes.
And her probe life is what she mentioned.
Probe life, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Tendy's like, well, go do it then. She goes, wait, you're right. I could. This could be my probe life. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely self-knowing. Because it kind of is like a freebie existence. You're going to get a couple of weeks either which way. So make some friends, do some stuff that you have no repercussions for. It's sensible. Although it's a little bit, like as she mentions later, I don't know if she was joking in the cell, but getting married, husband or wife, whatever. If she got married and had kids or something of the ilk, she'd then be leaving them and it'd be hard. Like, that's one thing you wouldn't do is find a girlfriend or boyfriend just to leave them. Because they're not going to beam up with you. And the time it took you to tell... I know I'm putting too much thought into it, but if you beamed up and then told boy, quick, beam my husband, Turan! Beam him up and it's been, 3 weeks.
Just beam up a coffin.
I mean, that obviously would be a lot harder to do, but, although if Mike and Man wanted to, jump them into this giant plot of having kids, I mean, you could have done that in this episode.
Yeah.
Alien babies, but still.
Ray Ricks, £5. Could they not have given the computer a voice command to beam them back? I thought that too.
Ray.
But generally, when you're using the console, you need to do the sliders, right? So I don't know.
I don't think the computer would be able to register data coming in at 0.0 or, the speed at which the signal will come in. I think it has to be the other way around. I think the information is too quick. Yeah, because it means the computer have to read a signal in 0.01 of a millisecond and tell a person. I don't think the computer could think that quick. Yeah.
Possibly. Mark Lawrence, though, $5. Just popped in to
Nice
say
go!
hi. Add my like and a super chat.
Yes.
You're amazing, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just got home from Mexico, and I'm about to hit the hay.
Aw.
Can't wait to see more of you in person.
Yeah, sleep well. Hope you got some good Mexican food in Mexico.
And Sussy Guru, 2,005 euros. Ernier went full Boimler this episode.
Oh.
You never go full Boimler. That's... Yep.
I mean, buffer time. You know, he's done some good stuff. But yeah, I like this, and the way she's rushing, even though she doesn't need to. I love the very slow, but every single scene, Tillin, she's not bored, but she's doing some stuff, and she's learning how to agriculture. Now, I was wondering at this point the second time, you'd think she would know all the things because she's Vulcan, but why would you know how to do agriculture in a world that no one in, well, maybe her great-grandparents were farmers. No, they came from Roman. No, Romans came from Vulcan. No, they wouldn't have been. None of her line have been farmers for 1,000 years, 2,000 years, right? So fair
All
enough.
farming is a science, though, if you really break it down.
But why would she need to know farming science? Like, she wouldn't be a thing.
It's just science. It's just chemistry, and
it took her 4 months to do wheat, is what I'm saying. Like,
she had to build a windmill to grind the wheat and stuff.
Yeah. The reason I'm bringing this up is that would the tricorder have had computer access, like a saved memory bank in the thing to have like how agriculture works, or she had to learn it sort of from scratch again? Because I was wondering if she
could be mission specific, like they're going to a pre-industrial society. You should know everything.
Oh yeah, that's true.
About that kind of rural life, right? So,
because I'd like the idea that she didn't know how to do any of this stuff, and she had to reverse engineer how to farm from scratch by asking people and learning. That's why it took her months. But I like that. I think that's a really fun, like, what would a Vulcan do if they're stuck in a time dilation field? Learn to farm. Cool. I like it, you know? As you say, it is a science. She makes it a science. Like a proper science, so yeah.
So Mariner goes out to do some speed dating, and Chanel is there. I've been watching you. I thought this house was abandoned. Nah.
Apparently Mark, 8 years, hasn't been to Mexico? Or seen people? Oh gosh, long time, yeah. It was wonderful.
And then Mariner says, "Yeah, get out of here. Go, get." And then why is there always a suspicious lurker when you're in a Carbon Creek situation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did think it was fine. Smack him in the head. Mariner's really on point this week. I think she's really good little jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Although I guess squatters' rights.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But fair enough. And I love that she comes back in and say Great Windmill. Tiny touches like that, because she's in the contract, right? So love a little touch.
Yeah.
And then we get data returned using... I have no clue how she did this. No idea. Although that said, we saw some metal on there, whatever. So probably they're more advanced than we thought. They are using candles in the lower floor, which I noticed earlier on. But yeah, she invented I assume magnets and some alternate magnets to make charge a thing to power.
Science, man. Yeah.
I mean, it's very impressive. They absolutely sidestep until later. But yeah, she repowers a android's head, and it's super easy, barely inconvenient. It just took 4 months. Nice.
And it's a little non-prime directive-y of Data to say, "I'm Lieutenant Commander Data."
Well,
who are you?
Ooh.
You shouldn't talk. You should power up and not say anything, because I don't know. It's fine.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
In that she had to power him up, which is more advanced than the planet could do.
True, but as far as he knows, there was a crash and then he woke up. But he has his internal clock as well. So
that's what I mean. It could have been 1,000,000 years as far as he knows. So, like you say, prime directive. But if you knows it's only been 7.5 months since he crashed, or a year since he crashed, then it's impossible someone could power him. Therefore, it's whatever. But I agree. I hadn't thought that. And he's fully functional in all the ways. So but I like how she's like, "Yes, I'm Starfleet. Hi." Because it's true. Like, you're an alien. No, not. Oh, sweet. I kind of wish he would quiz her on something to get another little gag in. But hey, he trusts her. Cool, that's 3 toys.
I like how she goes to shake his hand and then realizes he doesn't have a body.
Can you help me, Mr. Data? Well, as long as it doesn't require bodies or arms or legs.
Or a torso, yeah.
Good Data humor. I mean, he's very, like I said, very young Data.
Yeah. Yeah.
And very Futurama too.
Head in a jar.
Head in a jar. And he's great. I mean, a lot of lines are fun. And he wants to help, and They've got time, right? So, I mean, what else is he going to do, right?
Exactly.
He's just a head in a jar, or head in a table.
And they have a heart-to-heart about Tendi being concerned that Lynn's more capable of a science officer.
She is.
And, well, yeah. She goes on to say, Orions aren't usually science officers.
Yes.
Data's like, I'll be your study buddy. Well, why do you want to help me? You don't even know me. I know what it's like to be the first. I was the first android to serve on the bridge of a starship, so...
What a great comment. Really, yeah. I wouldn't have thought that. But again, as I said in another review, not even once does it feel like they played into the he's not from our timeline. Every reference he ever does is very much what we know.
Yeah.
I would have loved a little bit more. I mean, it's fine, but it would have been. But then it would have removed the relationship with Data, I suppose, that we know. Because if it is meant to be our universe, but slightly in the past and purple, then obviously we have full, like, oh, I get this guy, I like this Data. Small note, but it was notable there.
Uh-huh. And then Mariner goes to a bar, tries to make a friend, pokes him in the eye. That's a bad thing.
Yeah, doesn't pay for the booze either. That's why they have a tab, which makes sense.
Uh-huh.
And this is such a funny scene, because you can assume it's going to go one way. The fact that it doesn't waste any time to go the other way, but it's wonderfully paced. Lovely.
And the Stanley says to reactivate the robot's head, they must have been technically advanced, so Data deduced they're advanced enough to interact with. Possibly.
Disagree. The reverse of that.
Well, positronic matrix, whatever. Would assume that only a Starfleet officer could do that. Like, we could maybe bring his head back to life now in our time right now, but it would still be breaking the Prime Directive to talk to him. Because
Prime Directive is warp capable. There's no reason he would think that... What if one guy discovered positronics basic, or just had a power... Because he could be brute forcing his head with power. To assume warp capableness and having first contact with another race. At least that's the assumption. Yeah, I get what you mean, but there's still a stretch there. But yeah, I love how she pokes him in the eye. Because, yeah, she's new to these horns. Great edit, which we saw last week with the lady. From outside to brig. Same image, hard cut.
Oh, yeah.
Which I thought was fun. And just such a great gag for her, because she loves the brig. This is the space. This is the place.
That's a good point. I never thought of that.
Yeah. But it feels very like it's not her fault. Like, it's not her fault. She does it really nicely. She rebels wonderfully. And it gets her out of the story, but in a really clever way. Like, simple way, but clever way. So really intelligent storytelling. Yeah, though she spends a year in a bloody prison. That really sucks. Like, a year. Well, 6.5, 7 months in a prison. With murderers and rats. Rip.
And then cut back to the Cerritos, and it's like, there's nothing to clean up with in here. Take your shirt off. It's because there's no food allowed in the transporter bay.
Yep.
And the fabric's only absorbing the absorbent stuff. It's leaving behind the horrible goo. We'll have to lick it off.
It's gross, guys. It's real gross. Well, I don't know what L cars wouldn't be. Well, I guess... I don't know. I don't know. Moving on. But then we get a lovely garden. Every shot, every time we evolve the house. They've now repaired the roof is now no longer temp fix, now permanent fix. Love it.
Yep.
And a water wheel.
Greenhouse. Yep.
Lovely. Yeah, she builds a water wheel. Cool.
Yeah, it's to stabilize his, or to
power him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cute. And it is again, second watch is always different. I'm a little bit. I'm in this scene where Lynn comes in and do you basically want to come hang out, right? But she retorts that, or she says that 20 days in a row you've been up in the attic, and they think alone. They know alone, right? So to Lynn saying later, I did these things to regain a connection with you, is clearly not true because you didn't talk to her for 20 days.
Yeah, I know. There's a bunch of problems around that whole time thing here.
It's like, you didn't though, did you?
And yeah, and like I said earlier to you, Tandy looks out the window and goes, "Oh, the melons are so big." Well, of course, I mean, I can see her being focused on what she's doing, but you're not going to be up there 24/7. You need to go down and go to the washroom and stuff. Like,
well,
you're going to
also went to town to buy stuff, supplies to build stuff. There's no chance she didn't see it. Now, if they're implying that she was able to grow those things in like a day, fine. I don't think they're implying that, the melons and such. I don't think it was that special. So definitely some plot holey things here that could easily have been fixed.
Olivia Julius,
Thank you.
$5. Why didn't anyone question why Tendi has a green tongue? On Earth at that time, she would have been seen as a demon, a witch, diseased, or something.
Shut up.
Yep.
Fair. I mean, if you look at Talin's, she's wearing the band, which implies she's still got Vulcan ears, but they would have changed them, so why is she wearing the band? Chicken and egg right there. But she's brought in her melons, Stuart.
Well, she brought in grapes. The melons don't get through the door.
What?
Right? And Tendi can't compete with Talin's melons. Yeah, she can afford. Yeah, well, she can afford to with her giant melons. I can't compete with that.
Yeah, there's some very distinct jokes there. And those carrots, there's 3 for entire flower bed.
Yeah, you see those later leaned up against the wall at her stall.
That's madness. But yes, that window is right there looking at the entire thing, perfect view. That's the main window of the entire room. So, that is the main window of the entire room! What are you on about? Yeah. Now, I could see that Tindy would have boarded it up so no one could see Data's head.
Yes.
But she didn't do that.
And why is Talin not going, where's Data's head at? Like, why, what are we doing with that?
And you could ask why is Mariner not asking that, but she's still in prison.
I was gonna say Mariner, but then I realized where she was, so I didn't say it.
It's worth saying that she's still in prison, and they don't mention she's in prison. Why do?
Yeah.
I would think they should reference the fact that our friend is in prison currently.
And Data's like, well, maybe Talin just had more time to do things. Why? We've been here the same amount of time. Yes, but Vulcans require less sleep. That's it. I won't sleep. It's like, no, that's not what I was going for. I was just trying to counter your negative self-assessment. She's like, I can catch up on sleep when I get back to the Cerritos.
In 9 months, yeah, great.
She doesn't know how long.
Well, exactly. She doesn't know how long.
Yeah.
Madness. Yeah, definitely pretty silly. But I again, really good Data reference. He would know that the way he said it was pitch perfect. The way she reacted is really funny. Because, yeah, she's had twice the amount of time. Which is why I would like to have seen some segments at the end where Talin says, I work during the night. I would like to hang out during the day, but you're always busy. Like, she made a choice to be available when she's available. Because also, since Marion's in prison, they're not talking to each other. So the 2 aliens on the planet that are out there aren't hanging out. So Talin might have been alone for 5 months, not talking to anybody, right? I mean, the odd thing, but that's pretty sad.
Then Mariner gets out of jail. And it's what, two months for an eye poke? That is some Edo level bullshit.
I laughed at that.
Yeah.
You really have to know the deep knowledge of what people are called. Because that's the Wesley Crusher death penalty people, right?
Yeah.
And she's so chipper, which I love. Because that's growth, Mariner.
And then it's like, yeah, do you want to help me sell some of these vegetables? And look at the size of those carrots.
God. 5'10", yeah. And some beets, I guess?
Yeah, looks like it.
I love that she has a stall. She's so chill. It's the most ludicrous thing for a Vulcan to be doing, selling fruit. Yeah. No, it's...
And yeah, Merlost, I agree. They had to eat, right? 3 times a day? Yeah, you'd think they'd get together for meals. Like I said, the amount of time that they're spending there, they would have had to interact. They couldn't just be on their own, so...
You say that, but when your kids are teenagers, they could get the food and go to their room.
That's true. That is true. But that's not the same situation at all.
It isn't. But also, they're not on time dilation planet, your kids. They just live in your house, which is much worse.
Which makes time dilation in the house thing, because get the hell out of my house. You should be old enough to get out by now. Move.
Time dilation, yes. Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
But I love that she gets in jail within 20 minutes of out.
Oh, it's such a stupid thing. Look, a
Yep.
fire. Let's go put it out. It's like, yeah, but what? Nobody's freaking out about the fire. It's obviously supposed to be there. It's got a shrine thing around it.
It's also, well, purple, but I think it's purple. Yeah, that's another little plot hole. Marinette is smarter than that. Even dumb Marinette is smarter than that.
Yeah, that's a Boimler thing to do, 100%.
That's a season 1 Boimler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't believe it either time, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, no one cares around her, and then, yeah.
And Sussy Guru 2000 throws in €2. So thank you.
Thank you!
I bet those vegetables have zero flavor.
Yeah. Ooh. Ooh.
Why, though?
Vulcans don't like flavour. So you should
I
make
think
them...
they were just fine, as long as it's not meat.
Interesting. Interesting. But yes, then back to the real time, and they are licking it off, and it's slowly working.
It tastes like Lundy smells. I don't think he washes his hands before he uses this. It's like, oh.
But now, Talin has now got a giant, wonderful greenhouse. They've even made the path nice and prettied up the scene a bit. Yeah, they've been in 10 months.
And it's only Tillin doing all that outside work. You can speculate. So
she's choosing all the rich people. Yeah, like she's living her probe life.
Yo, absolutely, yeah.
Marin is in prison, and Tendy's, to be fair, ton of data. Not a bad probe life. Because who else got to spend 10 months with data? Yeah, 4 months.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Metallica fan 1442 puts in £2.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for the live stream. Sorry, not made many. That's okay. I'm glad you're here.
And now you're here
Catch you live.
to come to all the rest of them. You're not going to miss a single one now, right? Right. Good. Excellent. But thank you. Did you vote in the poll? If not, vote in the poll! We would
And hit
love
like. We have 38 people here and 32 likes, which is pretty good, honestly. But hit like if you haven't.
I want to see 34 likes. I want 2 more likes, like right now.
I want to see 40, so.
Oh, you did a me. Oh, dear me.
Now, Tendy says something weird here. Like, Data wakes her up and says, I thought I'd let you sleep because you need sleep to be productive. And she's like, yeah, I got to work around the clock if I'm going to finish this transporter.
Yep.
So now she's trying to build a transporter.
You know,
Damn.
simple ambitions, you know, nothing big that matter. Dender, you can't do that. Like, good for trying, Gal, but boy, that is out of this, you know. Although it does kind of, and I said this in another review, Spock built an interface with a tricorder out of Earth 60s tech.
Tubes and shit, yeah.
Yeah. So this is, and not that she's as smart as Data, although in different ways, you know, whatever. But it's interesting to see what you could do with primitive tech in a year, basically.
With the right knowledge, you can leap ahead a little bit. Because you know what the end result's supposed to be. You don't have to have those intermediate steps.
I mean,
Still got the metal and stuff.
My assumption is Data is meant to be like the processor for it. Because you need an insanely good computer to run a transporter. I don't think a tricorder could do it from scratch. I think Data could. So I could see you could pre-program in the math, disconnect, press a button, fine. But I think at 10 months, you're basically like, I could be here forever, right? There's no way, there's no reason to wait because long time.
We forgot to mention earlier, but Data said, I've been just ahead before. And here he says, I struggled to build an electromagnetic field core when I was trapped in 19th century San Francisco, meaning the events of Time's Arrow did in fact happen.
Yes.
How'd you get back to your own time? I waited in the cave until Captain Picard, myself, and some guy in a silver jumpsuit dug me out. I just love some guy in a silver jumpsuit. It was great.
So at least he's from season 6 onwards. At very least.
Yes.
But I like that 'cause it puts a bit of a different spin on the episode, is that he didn't actually win the scenario, he just waited. The long way around. Yeah. So it's not a good answer, Data. I know you can turn off, but they can't. Although I guess, is a cryo unit easier to build than a transporter? Probably, yes.
But she needs to go shopping, so she throws them in a bag. And they go to town.
Yep.
he's like, that's pretty ballsy. Bringing me. I would say it's pretty cavalier to bring me along in this satchel.
But she's not wrong. Although it would have been nice to have seen like them interacting with the town to think they could come and visit, but she's obviously not thinking straight, which is fine.
But Tlin has a kiosk.
Not a stall, a kiosk. She had things printed with a face on it. And it's better than her hair. It's proper fancy hair. Like, she had to hire a company to do bottles and labels. She put a lot of thought into this, and it's lovely. And it's like rubbing the nail as well.
Well, she built a printer and did her own glass blowing to get the bottles. Still in, who knows?
Yeah. I mean,
or she's bought them in bulk, the bottles, and just printed her own labels, making using a printer she made. I don't know. Whatever.
But it works. It works. I love this rationale. It's so wonderfully smart. Which is, what does she do?
You can't break the Prime Directive and give them like medicine. Well, it's not medicine, it's beauty products. By boiling the skin of the snoop fruit. The schnoop fruit. And now they all have beautiful hair. Maybe
well, the rich ones do.
Maybe it's L'Oreal.
Yes. And it is wonderful hair. And we do see a few later on, but not everybody. It's still for the rich only. But yeah, what a wonderfully inventive way.
Yeah, and also, we're rich now.
It's like, wow. And you can kind of get why Tendy's pissed. Because, boy, Talin's the goat. I mean, she's doing every single thing. And Tendy's talking to her head. But in fairness, it's not that hard to be rich if you've got mega advanced knowledge and tech.
Exactly.
Yeah. But really inventive. Really clever. Yeah. Back to the insanity of shirtless people.
They got it up and running, but we first have to signal the necklace thingy. Give them time to get away from the locals, so then, yeah.
Although still, it'll still be a week until you get picked up. I'm just saying. It's at least a week.
Yeah, it gives you less time to get everybody together, so.
I know, but there's a sense of urgency here. There shouldn't be. Back to the house.
He's like, giving all those people fancy hair has to be breaking some sort of rule, right? I love Data's response. I fail to see how adding bounce to curls could alter the course of civilization. Yeah. And at this point, Tendi is so sleep deprived that she's like, that's because you want her to get the science officer position too.
Yes. I've gotten the wide. I love the fact that you can, because the transporter is never really talked about really, but you can see the pad at the back, an obvious transporter pad, and tech and Sneed on the top of the transporter pad. Super fun. Lovely attention to detail there. But yeah, an unhorned head is talking. Crazy. Can natter no more. And Tlin comes in trying to be nice, and she gets kind of brutally thwacked in the head. For whatever reason, that felt like a proper, like, ooh. Because Vulcans are pretty strong, so that'd be a pretty brutal hit for her to get knocked out that hard.
I'm glad he waited around until I woke up, instead of just stealing Data's head or something. That was very nice of him.
Until nightfall, yeah. Although I was left wondering, isn't Tlin strong enough to break through those ropes?
Possibly, but if she pulled on them to break them, that would pull against Tendi and...
Yeah, that's my assumption as well, but I would like to line saying, you can get us out right, not at the risk of your injury. Damn it. A small thing, but she's very, very strong. Yeah.
See you later, Raj. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good one. Phoenix, yes.
And he accuses them of being witches.
Fair, yeah.
A hornless demon head. I love it.
And Tlin hasn't noticed in 10 months that... Oh. Yeah.
Could I interest you in another juggling display? Yes.
No.
I mean, no.
Not to invoke Starter Picard Season 1 Stuart. Because he wants to do that. But in theory, Soji and Daj have the same ability set as Data, or vice versa, and they could hear people coming from a mile away. How can Data not hear the breath of Schnee 7 foot away above?
Don't know.
Just saying. It's difficult when you got god creatures to kind of play with them. Yes.
So they have a whole conversation here about didn't notice your withdrawal. You know, I thought my projects that I was doing was an attempt to create camaraderie, and they have a whole thing about I know. Tendy's like, I hope she chooses you for the bridge.
Oh.
I couldn't keep up, and you didn't even know it was a race. Blah 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 blah. So she's going to Talin's going to revoke her application when she gets back because she can't communicate effectively, apparently, which is true.
Yeah.
And Tendy says all that time in Orion might have gotten to my head.
No, it was a good heart to heart. I feel sorry for both of them. They both had a weird year, and at all this said and done, Talin is still a disgraced Vulcan officer who's then to slum it on a low-end Starfleet officer.
Yeah.
So
she did say you chose Starfleet.
Yes.
I was banished here.
Which I didn't catch the first time, but I like it the second time because it again adds, like, she's trying to, if she can be the lead science officer of any ship, at least she's got some on her back. It's still crap, but it's some, right? Mm-hmm. And then she can work away from there. So it's a really good little heart to heart, and why would Talin think they're competing? You know, we talk about often. You know, people think our motives are what they are when they're not, and it annoys both us radically because a lot of problems we have. People's like, but that's not what we thought, and you've thought it wrongly. Why have you added that to what? That's on you that you thought we were doing that. So I really sympathise with this. That they're both thinking the wrong thing, and it's the other person's fault for guessing it, but also they're not very good a communicator. Yeah.
Yeah, so she reactivates the head and then get kind of a Doctor from Voyager vibe with "Don't shut me down mid-conversation," essentially.
Yep. It is rude.
Yeah, and can you chew off our bindings? Well, I don't have any experience in that, but I've seen Lieutenant Worf do this multiple times. I can try.
What do you mean you've seen him do this multiple times? When has he ever had to chew rope?
I don't. They had different missions than the ones in our universe, apparently.
Because I didn't know to get if that was we were tied up together and my android strength wasn't enough to go through bindings, or if it was a sex thing. He walked in on him with Kayla and there was ropes and he had to bite the ropes off her. I wasn't sure which way around.
Well, we do get the "you are fully functional" line right after that, so maybe it was a sex thing. I don't know.
It's a very naughty episode.
Sussy Guru 2000 throws in €5.
Thank you.
At least they both got a year of field experience on a pre-warp planet. Not Mariner, though. Prison doesn't count.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, no, exactly. That's a genuinely giant... most planets aren't time dilation. And the fact they didn't break the Prime Directive, like, that's got to be in the record as well, because they could scan the planet and see nothing got messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very effective. Something else I was going to say here. Oh, yeah. I love the fact that you said ask Brent to do a biting through rope sound effect. Because you can tell it's him. I just imagine that direction coming in. That made me smile.
But in prison, she's trying to play her soap flute, and she can't. It's more like a recorder than a flute, to be honest. But
and also, wouldn't soap melt in her mouth? And why'd she bring it with her? And many questions.
Oh, Mary, you made some friends here. We love you. And only 2 of us are murderers.
I mean, she would know that. She would know that. What do they call her? Big Mare?
Yeah.
Although normally they pick alien names. It's interesting to write for Mariner. Because, you know what I mean? Normally there's alien names. That's okay. But yeah, this is cute. You know, it is true. She got to do her thing, and it would have been nice if this experience had been part of the plot, as in she learned a cultural thing from them that helped the next scenario. But also I like the fact that she's entirely irrelevant to the plot, that she gets out and she's even unknowing to the grape reveal. But no, it's great.
Yeah, she gets released because her friends have powerful hair remedies.
Bribery.
Can my prison pals come too? No. Sorry guys, I tried.
Well, I find it slightly, Talin is now, bribing a government official. Just saying, it's not very ethical. Not very Yep, I mean, Tendy's face says it all. I just find it interesting, like, literal bribery gets them out. I mean, easiest way, right? And yes, the guy's hair is great. And then we finally... Oh, they're starting to beam. I didn't catch that. Okay, so they have less than a week. Because that'll take 1 second to do that. They have less than a week, but it's finally doing... And they get out of prison, everything's good until... The angry mob. With great hair.
Yeah.
Oh, and eye patch guy. She actually broke his eye. It's been like 9 months.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even notice that. Yeah.
That's really harsh. Yeah, because bartender guy's there. Okay, now I get prison. But gosh, ugh. But I guess there's no mod medicine, right? So, ouch. Sorry, guy.
It sounds like they have an undead head that speaks.
Meh.
No, we don't. I love that it's a grape, though. That was fantastic.
I love it didn't smash either.
Yeah.
And the fact that it bounced, had a face. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It was dark in there. You know, the lighting was pretty bad. You were probably just confused.
She's
you
calling
spend too
him
much
idiot.
time lurking, Chanel. We all know it.
Yeah. People don't like him very much, which is sad. You know? Yeah. Yeah.
You can toss rocks and catch them. Who cares? Go get a job.
Yeah. And then a great reveal, and it's not it's Talin that has the data head. Hello, I'm Connor Data. Which of course Mariner knew was there, but it's like, oh my god, you're not dead and didn't die against a Riemann scimitar. She's like, oh hi.
You know what happened? It's just everything was the same until Generations, and somehow the Enterprise D didn't get destroyed, and everything from there is different. It's fine.
Which means now I'll bring up, it would have been so nice if we'd seen a bit more of the Enterprise. And the reason they didn't say Enterprise D is because that Galaxy class was the Enterprise E. And we saw it visibly on the registry, like a close-up.
That would have been cool. And if you know, you know. Because I'll just tell you real quick. There's a picture of the Enterprise D in a crate, and it's got 1701E on it because they weren't sure if they were going to reuse the Galaxy class for First Contact or do a new Enterprise. So they actually changed the model for it just in case. A la Star Trek 4. Let's just give them the same ship again with a different letter or a letter added. So yeah, that would have been funny as hell. Have that be the Enterprise E.
Yeah, because the team at Generations ILM fully repainted the model and improved the detail for movie. So it was ready for more movies. And, you know, another miniature's like $1 million. So it's totally... And it looked nice in the movie, right? You know, so they did that. And that's the famous video when they were selling the original stuff, I believe for Christie's, and it's like, that's how the D miniature was left, as the E. So, deep cut would have told you, you know, in their universe, Kirk's alive and Generation didn't happen the way it did, and you could have had such fun with, like, that concept, and then, like, a deep cut. But it's fine, just, it was interesting they noted no Enterprise D. They never said Enterprise. But yeah. Data was definitely funny here.
Mariner's like, you're very famous. Can I hold data, please? Oh, you're warmer than I expected. Why did you have a preconceived notion about my temperature? Now this, my mind, it might just be my mind, went dirty.
Oh, no. Yep.
Because she says, because I think about you all the time.
All the time.
But I don't think she meant it like that. She says, you are really cool. So anyway.
Well, he is an inspiration, but not for the Mariner side sort of character. Like, why would the emotionless, trying to be human, excellent officer, always trying to do the best and fit in, work as an inspiration for the emotional, not wanting to fit in, rebellious...
She's cool. She's cool.
No, I know that bit. But an odd... So I definitely took it as a...
Rutherford would have been geeking the hell out.
Oh, yeah. Kind of like Todd Stashowitz for Geordie, kind of. But it's a very sweet little moment, and this is where you don't need conflict to be nice a lot of the time. So she's like, this is everything I dreamed for. Because he's been dead for a couple of years. This is like, genuinely, I'm going to meet a Data. And it's lovely. It's very sweet. You know, it's a nice little scene. I still think they're dumb, because it should be at least a week until they're beamed out. And this is the same day, it's the same walk.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Because they didn't have to make it a week for time dilation. I'm just saying, they could have made it like a minute was a day. or a minute was an hour, right? Any other variation of a week is such a long time.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So it's breaking the Prime Directive if anybody sees the head, but not if Snell's a loser. Well, Snell was a loser before we got here, so
Harsh data, harsh.
it's fine.
Yeah. Although he didn't see him much, but yeah.
And he's like, "No, do you want to stay in our dimension?" He's like, "No, I got to get home to Geordi. Geordi's my best friend." Aw, that's so sweet. I'd go back for Geordi too.
Right in the fields. Oh, nice.
Respect.
Now, I kind of thought they were going to go about Geordie, my husband. Because I thought that would have been an interesting sidestep for that universe, that one little change. Just for the lols, right? But, that's the way I thought I framed that. But yeah, they beam up. God, you got to have a transporter accepting that Mariner's Biosign now has a giant positronic head. I'll beam up anyway. It's fine when I think about it. But, I mean, Kirk got beamed up with Jillian, so when you start to beam, it just beams everything around you. It's fine. Just happens. And Schnee
I love the whole, what the hell happened? The controls had a glitch? Yeah, just a totally random Elcars issue.
That's why you're shirtless and covered in garbage. Yes, I believe you. Yeah, I love the reaction here. And it's funny Tendy's the one. Normally it'd be Mariner who would have a go. But she's so happy to be Data. She's like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun stuff. Boy, that is an embarrassing look for them.
Then we get Freeman talking to Data. And it makes me wonder, did they communicate through the rift to tell the Enterprise that they're returning something? Or are they just going to shoot him back through and hope the Enterprise finds him eventually?
There's no hint either way.
Exactly.
I assume they would send a signal through and they either got it or didn't.
Or have an emergency beacon on the torpedo that...
Yeah. Yeah, but if they're fighting Sealer or Tashiar... But also they've in theory dealt with 3 of these this week, and we know they're man-made, so somebody's creating the same anomaly each time, so they would know how to whatever.
And this would be the same day. This is like a minute after they beam down. So
yeah,
maybe this is probably like an hour afterwards, but still.
Yeah, and just enough time to put Data in a sci-fi head thing because he was being battery charged for a bit.
Curious, what color is your Enterprise? No color, just a neutral gray. That seems like a missed opportunity when purple is an option.
Well said. Well said.
It's
just good data writing. I still wish some reference to D or E, because you don't have to prime directive another universe.
Yeah.
So, what codes to Enterprise D? Oh, no, Mr. Data, we have Enterprise E. E. How fun. Right? Would have been nice. Or if you wanted to double down on a very specific part of canon, you could have had... Yeah, because Picard's an Admiral already at this point. You could have had Data say, and who is the captain of the Enterprise Z? Oh, Captain Worf. Wonderful. And really set that into canon. It wouldn't have taken much, right, to have that be the thing.
Yeah.
And this is where we both said, had it would have been a better episode if they'd called the other Enterprise to come back through, and we'd see
that would have been awesome.
Carol on the bridge talking to the Enterprise, full recreation. Now, I'd said in the review, I wish it had been the universe, or variation of the universe, from Parallels, where Worf ended up, with Crusher, Wesley Crusher, as the back tactical guy with a plexiglass screen. And so you have Crusher back for no reason. So he has 3 appearances in a year, or 2 years. It would have been so fun. It's like, just that Crusher. Why not? Would have been amazing.
With a purple tinted bridge and people with purple skin.
Yeah. Yeah, would have been great. And like I said, I would have loved Captain Troy, just for the lols, right? Yeah, it would have been great. Or even Picard not say anything. Patrick Stewart's visage and then Riker say something. I don't know. It would have been just extra nice.
And I was expecting that first time watching this. I was hoping we'd see the Enterprise D come back through and retrieve him and then leave.
No, Stanley's Data is back at Rome. Although I want to point out, I never think about Rome despite being a house filled with Roman things. I don't know why that's a thing.
That's why you don't. I don't think about Rome very often either.
Why would you? I know it's amazing because I know all about Rome, but why would you think about Rome? Anyway.
It's a trope that all men think about Rome at least a couple times a month, and I don't.
Oh, some people say a day. Some people say a week. The joke is ridiculous. Anyway,
It
back
is.
in Not 10 Forward. With Boimler's terrible beard. Absolutely atrocious.
Guess who's a new science officer? You got the promotion? No, we both did.
And I was.
And I love Freeman's response. Congrats! Oh, that's great, Carol.
Yeah, good for Carol. That was really sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was either going to be both got it or neither got it. I wasn't sure which way they were going to play because I didn't think it was just be one or the other. It felt like a, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're too good of a team to split up. Data told her that, and he works with Geordi, so he would know.
And I said at the start of the episode, our review, Tallinn is re-saying what they're saying a little bit, but because she's saying it the way they're saying it, give or take, she's throwing the gauntlet down at these guys. Screw you guys, because Tallinn is agreeing in a way that's it's really nice, because dealing with the Vulcan so specific, to know that and to play off that is really fun.
Yeah, damn, Tallinn popping off.
Because it's true, they did mess up. I mean, they lost a year of their life. They're not getting that time back. They are now going to die a year earlier because they've lived a full year.
Yeah.
That's real. Now, yes, modern medicine, fine, but a year of their life, and they all could have been dead. There's no reason to think they could survive a year on that planet. You know what I mean? Like, they really messed up. And it's like, don't have food in the transporter bay. Shouldn't need to be a rule. Or at least not a giant liquid bullshit. Weirdos.
And then Mariner's like, let me play my beloved soap flute.
Which definitely kept. Ridiculous.
You see Data in the torpedo casing. And he gets shot up somewhere.
I've got epilogue here.
Actually, somebody asked me last night where he got shot up. It's the torpedo tubes on the top of the ship. You just can't see it.
Which we said, well, I definitely called out in season 1. They definitely had to be the torpedo tubes, but there was no detail there, so I'm glad we got that. But again, had it gone through, and we cut to them being picked up, you could have a really wonderful epilogue here. You know, it's like my friend Nick Cook. He's done an episode with a TOS crossover, and I said to him, you know, if you're doing it, you know, have fun because you don't often get to justify another crossover. So they could have. It's fine. But yeah, it's a very sweet end. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't necessarily thinking, like I was thinking either big end of having the Enterprise D, but you did need to have some level of closure with Data. So I'm glad it was, they put those few seconds of animation time. Was very sweet. And yeah, there we go. No close to working out what the anomalies are. But everyone had a bonus year, or had a year, and a bit different for it.
Indeed.
Crazy.
And that's the end of season 5, episode 7.
We're now in the final 3, which means we're in the final 1 before the 2-parter.
Yeah.
Damn. I'm like what's his name? The small guy, the small actor that everyone loves, Kevin Hart. Damn. And then he's like told off because he's not that old. That's great. Anyway, right. What could people do, Stuart?
I could read super chats unless you cut me off.
So what do you think of the episode?
Puts in €2. Wait a minute. Did we remove the warhead? Yes.
They're in one of the empty tubes. You always have to have an empty casing just in case you have to make a probe or something. Mm-hmm. And in fairness, those are also the coffins.
Yep.
So you would have a couple of empty casings at all times. Just saying. But yeah, what could people do, Stuart? Because I see a goal and it'd be great if you hit that goal.
They can super chat in. We'd like at least $4 or $5 super chats would be awesome if
yes.
you could. Super chat in your score out of 10 while we give our final closeout and review numbers. Yes. And just throw your score in the super chats. I'll read those out afterwards. So yeah.
And we're nearing the end of the month, so this is a really great time to help us out if you can. Every single super chat makes a big difference today, right now. So a couple of 5s just because you love us would be also lovely. You know.
Or have a super chat snipe war. See what gets the last super chat.
Yeah.
Right now it's Sasiguru 2000.
Yeah. And just super chat for low days. I mean, this is a really great episode, so you know, Super chat for your love. Okay, Stuart. What do you think, and how has our 1 hour and 32-minute review, which I think is the longest we've talked about an episode of the season so far?
It felt the shortest, though, because we had lots to talk about. We're moving at a good pace.
Yes. I was shocked when I reached minute 23. I was like, oh, damn, that was the quickest 23 minutes of an episode I've had this season. Yeah. It zipped by. I
said that when we reviewed it the first time. It went by so well. It was paced so well.
Yeah.
I experienced time dilation in my living room.
Oh, no, what a shame. So, yeah, your closing thoughts, and how has this review changed them? Because that's always an interesting thing I find. Because everything pretty detailed analysis today. What do you think?
In my opinion, I think it's probably the most enjoyable episode of the season. I mean, the first episode had a lot that I liked with the other Cerritos crew and that kind of stuff going on, but I don't feel it was paced or made me feel as good as this one did. This was like comfort food, like a safe space. It's very typical Star Trek, and to have Brent Spiner back was amazing. To see the Enterprise D again, amazing. All the references to other episodes I thought was fun, and it all worked together so well. And I love that Mariner was sidelined, but kind of not. You kind of got her. She likes being in the brig, as you pointed out, and so it was just like a regular place. Yeah, it was just like a regular vacation for her, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, and talking about it probably made me appreciate it more. Because, you pointed out a few things, like her enjoying being in the brig and stuff that I didn't really think about. So, there were a few problems here and there with the amount of time they were there and not interacting with each other. I thought was a little bit sketch. But, I mean, you get that in TNG episodes as well. So it's not really a problem.
They're premise problems versus episode problems.
Yeah. It wasn't a quick wrap up necessarily. I think it didn't feel rushed at the end like some do. This felt very natural, and it was a very uplifting ending as well. That being said, it could have been better, but I'm not going to complain. So score-wise, I'm going to say for this season, definitely like a 9.3.
Shall I throw you the curveball of comparison?
My other one was a 9.4, wasn't it?
You gave the TOS one a 9.3 as well.
Okay.
Which is obviously the highest by a substantial margin. So now you know
9.5.
Okay.
For all of Lower Decks, I'll give it a solid 9. Just a straight 9. It's definitely in the upper echelon of Lower Decks episodes for me. So,
if there's 50 episodes, is this top 10 Lower Decks?
There's been a lot of good Lower Decks episodes.
I'm guessing roughly, right? Or is it just out of that, or just in that? Do you think
it would just be around the 10 mark? Like, I'm not sure if it would fall in the top 10. Fair. It's around there though. Okay. So yeah.
So it might miss the podium, or it might just hit the podium, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Fair.
How about you? What did you think of this after discussing it and now watching it a few times?
And again, 3 more super chats would be super nice. 3 more scores would be really, really helpful, guys. No, it's great. It's a really, really good episode. It is, like I said at the start, it's the best story of the season because they fully cohesive, apart from the plot holes I said. But then again, we said how and why, and I think even they would have known a few of them. But it's super well paced, really good character story. Everyone gets something, either be good or bad or dumb, but it feels like it's something. And in fact, actually, no bridge crew, really. That might be why it works so well as well, because every one of our main people get something.
And Talin's in it. It's a big part.
Fantastic in it, yeah. The sci-fi is really good. The Prime Directive is really good. The jokes are really good. I laughed out loud the most of the season, easily the funniest episode, but being clever Trek funny. They write a new Trek to have those deep cut references, but also structural things like Talin's sense of smell, really on point. This felt as I said in our other review, or maybe off camera to you, this for me is what Lower Decks can be and should be. It's using the Trek world, putting into new perspectives, using a legacy to heighten the story and add something in your own characters. This is for me what Lower Decks. If this was every other episode this season, perfect. Use the anomaly. This is using the premise of this season to its fullest. Why is not every episode like this or every other one? Yes, you can't have 5 heads on 5 planets, but you could have had other fun things. And this is what the season should have been. So sad it isn't, but at least we got one of them. At least we got one of those premise, right? And unlike the Starbase 80 episode where the end is weak-ish, the last scene is not a good scene. This has no bad scenes. Might not have the strongest end, but there's no way it's weak. It's just could have been something else, but it's not a detriment. It's just a could have. So really does well, and yeah, just really well balanced. And Brent's excellent, and not a cameo, and just enough new stuff, just enough. You know how Data react. I'm sure Brent was happy to be. Score wise, this is easily the best of the season, and if this is the best of the season, I'll be happy. Which I don't often say, because it does enough of its own thing to be its own quality. Without just being reference city, even though it uses the references better to not feel dumb, but they're in there. This is a much clever episode. I think for this season, this wouldn't be hard to beat, but we're just having giant spectacle of like, oh, there's the Enterprise Z, and there's Captain Worf, and there's like a battle with the Borgs. Like, oh my god, you know, you could make it bigger, but for a small scale episode, this is basically like top Lower Decks. I say I want to be higher than your score, but you put it really frickin' high. Because I like it more than you, but your score is so high. So I'm gonna have to bend my scale a little bit just to kind of go against you a little bit. We're competing here. So 9.6 this season, just to beat your 9.5.
Let's do 9.55.
9.975 no. No, 9.6. I probably would have given it around a 9.4 if you hadn't given it a 9.5.
Gotcha.
But I think if this is best of the season, great. Yeah. All Lower Decks, this for me is absolutely top 10 without a shadow of doubt. This might be top 6, just because it structurally does the concept of Lower Decks superb. It doesn't rely on other stuff. So for me, all Lower Decks, I'm going to go 9.3. I think this is right up there as a top Lower Deck episode. And I wish more were like this.
Perfect.
What do you guys think?
Any more super chats for final score? We're going to end out the poll, so you got a minute to like super chat in with your scores. We'd appreciate it. But the poll here is this episode or the Starbase 80 episode the best of the season? This one wins. Data's Return at 51%. Starbase 80 is 30%.
Okay.
And neither there's a different one at 19%. So.
Okay, I was expecting more of a 60% slant, but hey, 50% is still pretty good. Interesting.
With 43 votes as well.
Yes.
So.
Interesting.
All right. Well, we only got one super chat score.
Oh,
so
okay.
if you want to super chat in, please do so. But
Yes.
Ray Ricks, our Lord and Savior Ray Ricks, £5. 9 out of 10. Really good episode, and great to have T'Lyn interacting with the others for the first time in a few episodes. Great to get Brent back as well. Yes. All those things.
Yes. This one also could have been a longer episode. If they had the Game of Thrones style, whatever length you need, this could have done with an extra like 6 or 7 minutes. Just to kind of do a bit more, right? It's definitely limited by the formula. Well, not too limited, but limited. Alright, some non-super chat scores, but like I said, we'd love another 1 or 2 would be absolutely phenomenal. Let's see what you guys review it score-wise. We have got Aussie 9.5, Mum goes 9.6. Chuck 9.5, Donnie 10. This is a joke, Donnie 10 of course. Marco 8.6. Oh, so low. That's fine. Dominion Games 8.3.
Oh, you missed Metallica fan who finally made a live. You got 9 out of 10.
Well, I couldn't see him because he's never here. No, I'm joking.
Oh,
Metallica fan! 9
I see you, Metallica
out of
fan.
10. He's avataring you. He sees you. 9 out of 10. We enjoy this episode. Excellent. Merlot 7.6. Merlot, why so low? That's like... It's real low. Stanley's 8.5. And Metallica again. 9 out of 10. 7.6. Gosh. That's,
He goes, well, not only that, but Merlot says 7.6. Best of the season till now.
It's kind of indictment on the season, isn't it? Well, I guess you could be 7.321.
Yeah.
No, really great. I mean, yeah. And if this had been a season 1 episode, this would be like a 9.9. right? Because it's like, wow, you got Brent Spiner back in season 1. And it would have fit Rutherford and Bourne being dumbasses.
Yep.
Just, yeah. 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 Being dumb is, yeah.
Phoenix Gundam says I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah. It's, I actually think it's more than that. I think it's, real good. Real good.
Twas indeed. Twas indeed.
I know we always ask for
so
quite
guys,
a lot with, you know, new other legacies and such, but it's like, yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah, this was done well. And I would never have thought to pitch the idea of another Data's head for a legacy character returning to Lower Decks, but
well, yeah, because it seems too big. But also, had you asked us, we're like, obviously, we want Brent Spiner back as Data. That's amazing. But yeah, it's definitely a budget thing. So I'm sure he was, you know, went for quite a lot. But he's great. And maybe missed Data even more. This is classic Data.
Metallica fan 1442 puts in £2. Thank you. This was definitely my favorite of the season.
Yes. Yeah. And the TOS one was great. Just had a few weaker points. This just zipped in. Like the logic of not knowing that it's Starbase 80, even though they're like in the same system, which means they won't get into it again. Now, do you think this implies they've saved the best for last? That we're going to get a 3-episode streak after this of being 9s? Because
possibly.
Because they've only got 3 left.
I think so. I hope so. Because it's not only the season finale, but it's the series finales. Like that's a couple. And I want to put out a speculation. I think that we know that these rifts are artificially created by someone.
Yes.
I want it to be a Harry Kim from another universe looking for a Harry Kim that is not an ensign. And our Harry Kim or some Harry Kim solves the problem of the interdimensional rifts. So not only is Harry Kim the big bad almost, but he's also the hero. And as a result of heroing everything, he gets promoted to lieutenant. That would be amazing.
That
a great
would
way to end out Lower Decks.
That would be a good ending.
Think about how good of an ending that would be for Lower Decks, for the forever ensign to get promoted.
No, yeah, the ultimate. Yeah, you have to explain why still an ensign like 3 years on, 4 years on from after Endgame, yeah. But or even just going from Lieutenant Kim to like Lieutenant Commander, like a Kim promotion on camera, would be that would be really meaningful, like our version.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can even have it be as as simple as the Kim from the other universe, who I guess didn't die.
Trying to get back.
Yes. Exactly.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, you could play with that, because I'm definitely thinking that Kim is definitely a big reveal. Because we've had one legacy, unfortunately just one, and he was important, so I'm hoping they're going to use the other legacy important. Or a 2-part Kim, make him be the crux of the final 2 episodes. That would be nice. Give him the ultimate love letter there. Well, it'd be kind of funny to have like Kim meet either Kirk, Picard, or this, one of the captains. It'd be fun to go from like the lowest ranking guy on Voyager working with one of the highest ranking people in all of Starfleet Legacy, like that absolute disparity of roles, and he's like amazing. That'd be fun. But I would not be totally surprised if they have Worf on the Enterprise E.
That'd be cool.
Because it's the most like flex thing they could do, but in a good way. To have Cerritos work with, to have Kim work with Worf on the E would be a weird sentence, but wonderful. Have him be, imagine Kim being promoted to like Lieutenant Commander of the Enterprise E. Talk about going from lower deck to a higher deck, and Dawn, I'm sure, would love to come back in that way, and then Brent be harder.
I think the next episode's called Upper Decks. So. Intriguing title.
Because I wonder if Mike, because at some point you're going to know or think okay, 5 might be the end. let's assume we are, but let's end out an Enterprise E plot to kind of give us that really like, whoa. Because the end of last season was what? Was it Buen Amigo? And the
No, last season was Nova Squad.
was that yeah? So Cerritos didn't really make an impact. It was more Carol and the captain's yacht. Yeah, because every season they have the Cerritos doing something big. That was more the crew.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see it being E and Worf and doing something really cool.
Murloc says, "What was Tom's rank in Lower Decks?" I think he was still Lieutenant Commander.
Yeah, still 2 full pips. No, I think it was just 2. I think it's still just Lieutenant. Yeah,
Oh, he might have been Lieutenant. Yeah.
hadn't changed. That was kind of the like, oh, okay, he's just same guy doing his tour. And in fact, they did build all of Voyager, so if you want to go for fancy, I mean, they don't tend to recycle plots from Lower Decks, but it'd be nice if maybe, the start of episode 9 is Kim visiting Voyager, the museum, and then another Kim meets him and like chloroforms him and takes him to another room and like, you know what I mean? You've already got that fully built. It'd be an easy way of like having something special. Yeah, I'd like to see B'Elanna back as well. Personally, I think that was not to be mentioned in the Paris episode. It was sad.
Yeah. All right. Well, there we have it, guys.
Well done, Lower Decks. One of my favourite.
Yep. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you check out our content this weekend. We got a few episodes coming out, one Saturday, one Sunday, so watch those. And we'll see you.
And I might do a live tomorrow, depending. I'm debating it. I am here.
Right, tomorrow's the 1st.
Tomorrow? No, tomorrow's the 30th.
Oh, yes, you're right.
So I'm debating whether doing one tomorrow. So you might see me, hopefully see me, doing some sort of ranked that I can do that Stuart won't be quite as... just a solo ranked, because those are always fun. I'm debating. I am here this weekend, so...
No one wants to see you live with you. Come on.
It's fine, I have special guest Brent Spiner!
I mean...
Head, just off screen. He's turned off, so he won't be talking.
Metallica fan definitely won't show up because you won't read any of his comments because you can't see him because he's never here.
Who?
Exactly.
What? So you might see me tomorrow. So check out early in the morning or in the for a live schedule. It'll be sort of earlier than now, but not like midday. So check and see.
All right. And on that note, thank you guys for watching.
Thank
Have
you.
yourselves a fantastic weekend. Until next time, he's Commander Cocktails.
He's got a funny.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.